Good morning everybody, welcome to Stockradar, Stocks on the Move. Today's date is the 27th of March 2025. My name is Richard Lee and I manage the stockradar.com.au website for you. Well, fun times, always fun times in the stock market are what gets me up every day. It's always a challenge, which is always fun. Seems to be about the miners at the moment, but we must be very careful because they will be volatile and we have profits to protect, some good mining profits to protect. I'm going to talk a little bit about defending profits today, and I just want to go through a few examples of what we've done today of recent weeks. Recently we've had profits to protect on T&E at 65%, Computer Share 31%, Aristocrat 36%, Suncorp 28%, JBH 42%, CBA 38%, Commodities 139. We've knocked them all out, locked in profits, stand aside, nobody can take away from us. Next is the trend reversal, the new high, whatever happens. That's the process we go through, and I'm going to review that in trading tactics a bit later on for you, okay? And we're going to have a look at a couple of those charts as well. Okay, so it's about not being right or wrong, it's about making sure you make money, and we've locked in some good profits because there has been a change in behaviour, so we'll talk about that as well. This is actually a great time to demonstrate the Stockradar process and how it capitalises on trends. There is a chart at the end of this newsletter that explains the Stockradar strategy succinctly in one simple graphic. I suggest you all have a look at that because it does explain it all very, very clearly, and it's a very simple strategy that we use. Okay, so firstly, let's get into our trend intensity ratings for the week. Okay, well, as you would expect, there's some miners at the top there. Capricorn Metals, EVN, the golds are going gangbusters, as Genesis Minerals is. Medibank Private's doing well on the industrial side. Northern Star, Proesis, we've got QBE, which is challenging highs again. Then we've got RRL going in, Sandfire, benefiting from the copper price rise, and SGM is sneaking higher, and I'm watching a couple of those base metal stocks that are looking quite interesting at the moment, and CGM or Sims Group is one of those. Okay, a stock pick count is down 1 this week to 35. We lost 1 stock, down 31 stock picks of 158, and 4 ETFs of 26. So 31 stock picks there, going along quite nicely, but we have knocked out quite a few recently. Okay, so that's the stock pick count. We're going to look at the overseas markets, and you can see what's happening here. Firstly, we go to the Dow, and we can just see this pattern here. We haven't really seen this for quite some time. So we're seeing a bit of a resistance up here. We're seeing an erosion of support. We're seeing some heavy selling volume. There's buying volume there as well, but really, as the price is coming down, it's a little bit more of a worry than it was before. So it could recover, could make a new high, but at the moment, this is certainly suggesting we're seeing a little bit of an erosion of support there. Okay, so we look at the Nasdaq. The similar pictures are all through these indices in the US, as you would expect. There's some pretty heavy selling coming through here. We're seeing the market be weak. It's broken some profits. It's a change in the behaviour of the price action, and that's what we're always looking for: behaviour of the price action, and we need to identify it and respond to it. Okay, and I'm going to show you some stocks later on that we have done. So you can see the Nasdaq here; it's falling on high volume, which is not a good sign, and acceleration has really gone out of these indices at the moment as well. And the S&P is probably not quite, probably the strongest of the lot. It's sort of eroding the support here a little bit. We have got some quite heavy volume here. We had some big volume last week, held the price but didn't push it up. So it's a change in the price action again, and we're just being wary of that. Okay, so we're sort of seeing that the downside moves a little bit bigger than the upside moves at the moment. Okay, now we go across to our market, and it's come off quite sharply. We've got quite a few weeks down there, a little bit of a recovery here, nothing amazing there, an erosion of support. We've now broken the nexus of high highs and high lows, and now we've got a lower low here, which is a worry, and we've got the momentum also going right out of this index as well. So at this stage, I'm looking for further downside there. Probabilities suggest S1 might be on the cards, and that's down around 7,800. Okay, so gold, well, it just continues on its merry way higher. And it's breaks new highs is an odds-on signal that further prices will rise further. Now, sometimes in the gold sectors and the mining sectors, it doesn't always come off. We have our stops in place to protect that. But if it does go for a run, and you can see with gold and some of the stocks that I'm going to show you later on, that we have captured this move well because it's moved higher in a series of higher highs and higher lows. It's been supported by very good volume, very good momentum. It's above the average, which is providing support. All those ingredients that we need. Those 4 things: price trend, volume, moving average, and price momentum are all there on gold, still giving it a rating of 10. So that's a very good sign. Okay, then we go to copper. Now this is blasting higher, blasting through this resistance level that we've been talking about for a while. It's getting through here. Volume is steady without being amazing, but it's above the average, and momentum is good. So on a trend intensity, it's going to get about an 8 or a 9 there. So it looks interesting. Copper stocks are being supported without being run away at the moment, but still, this is a very good sign here. This is starting to move above there for copper prices in the future. Okay, and the other one, of course, is Brent crude, which really is still not giving us any inspiration whatsoever, so we'll just leave that one alone, I think. Okay, so that's the overseas markets. Last week we had some nice, interesting stock to have a look at. We saw ATM showing a bit of independent strength there. We looked at PME, EV, and a few of those other metal stocks. Sigma looked interesting, and we also looked at Sims Group, which we'll have another look at again. So this week we got the upside surprise with Gold Road Resources. In these situations where there's a takeover offer or a bid, we will tighten our stop, and you'll see that where I'll put that on Friday, because that's been a sharp move higher there. Just following within an uptrend, it had a trend reversal back here in October, and it created a new high in November, and it's gone on quite well here. We had a bit of a sad week last week and a bit of volume there, but all of a sudden this big came through, and we've got a great jump in the price there. So we're still in a trend. An upside surprise usually comes in uptrending stocks, which has happened here, and as takeovers aren't really our game, and there are other things dominating the price, we will tighten our stop up to make sure that we make a good profit on Gold Road Resources. So that's one there for you. Genesis Minerals is another one, which has been a great little trade for us. Just broke to new highs here back in March this year. It went sideways for a bit, struggled a bit, but it didn't go up, didn't go below our stop, and it's now had a huge run, gone from about 180 up to now about 370, which is a pretty big rise. And again, it's the metals market. We've got to be very careful, and we will with our stop loss. But you can see here, if I push this volume up here, the volume has been really good for quite some time throughout this trend. Momentum's been good, it's been above the average, and that's why it's getting a trend intensity rating of 10. All we do is follow it and lift our stop. Simple as that. Okay, don't worry, don't wonder, don't doubt, just do. Okay, so that's Genesis Minerals. Telix Pharmaceuticals is another one, interesting one with T&E, which they've got quite similar price action, the two of them. We broke to new highs back here in March 24, and it's had a beautiful uptrend. Then we saw some pretty heavy selling got here, which is a bit of a warning here on Telix. Didn't really damage the price too much, and already the market is starting to recover again. So this one here seems to be independent strength again. We don't like the top down. I'm going to talk about that in the newsletter next week. We like to look at stock specific price action, and this price action is very solid. Okay, we've got a little bit of momentum to come out, which is to what you would expect, and it's common when you see this sorts of patterns occur, when you get this sharp moves higher. But it's above the average. Volume is okay, back again, and momentum is still very high on the scale, which means price momentum has been very, very strong. Okay, so that's Telix Pharmaceuticals. That's been a wonderful stock for us, so we're still holding that one. Okay, apart from knocking some of them out. Okay, Sims Group, which we looked at last week, it's just followed on this week. Hasn't really done a lot, but it's still, we're looking at this area here, R1 as the next stop, but it has got a high up here around $22. That would be the next stop. If we get through R1, we're looking for R2. The trend intensity rating is 10 at the moment. It's really sparked higher since we've seen this trend reversal break. Kicked higher here, volume good, momentum good, and the moving average is supporting it as well. So we've got a nice little uptrend of higher highs and higher lows now. Moving towards the test probably around $16 fairly shortly, we hope. Okay, so that's Sims Group, which is looking pretty good at the moment. We've seen Genesis Minerals was up 94%, Telix is up 129%, so their profits there we have, and we don't want to lose those, and we won't lose those. So that's what it's all about. When you get those profits, you don't want to be right or wrong, you just want to make sure you lock in profits when you see that changing price action. And T&E's is a little bit different to Telix's, so Telix is a hold and T&E is not. So we'll have a look at T&E in a second. In fact, we'll look at it right now. Here's T&E. You can see this price action again, which has been, we had a new high back here in March last year. It rallied strongly, but this one here has failed at support. Okay, we had some heavy selling here, whereas Telix didn't. It's rallied again, and the buying's come back. The buying has come back in here, but hasn't pushed the price up far enough yet. Anyway, our stop has gone off, so we've been told to lock in the profit. So in this situation, the Stockradar strategy says, okay, the stop loss has now gone off, so we are now in a neutral position. We've banked our profits and we stand ready for the next move. So in this instance here, the market can go up again, create a new high, which will give us a signal again. It can go sideways, which will not give us a signal, we will stay out. It can go down, which will not give us a signal, and we will stay out. So until a trend reversal happens from lower levels. So that's the process we look at now. The three options: the new high, which we would buy; the other two, which we wouldn't, until we get a trend reversal down below here, which will happen if we get a downtrending move. So we don't know, but we see the price action has changed. We've locked in the profit there and it's just standing aside, which we're comfortable with on quite a few of those stocks. So it's been important because the name of the game is making profits, and we've had some very good runs of late. Don't be greedy and don't have expectations that are too lofty. Make sure when you can identify a pattern and you recognise it and you adapt and behave accordingly. Okay, that's technology one. One of the other ones that's holding quite well has been Qantas, which again has surprised us all. But again, we've seen this pattern here where we saw some selling come in here, and it came down quite quickly. Didn't hit our stop there, but again, now we're seeing the buying come straight back in here. Now it's still only halfway through the week, so this volume can creep up a little bit higher, but it's above the average. Momentum is still high, although it has sagged a little bit. So we're getting this move. Trend intensity now moves down to about +8. So there's a little change there without giving us a signal to sell at this stage. So we're just sort of looking, watching and identifying this one at the moment, but nothing significant has happened like happened on the T&E chart. So that's Qantas at the moment. It's holding up quite well. Okay, so what I want to talk about now is just really a little bit about defending your profits, because that's what it's all about in this game. So you've got to recognise these opportunities. So the process we do is the lock-in. Okay, we lock in our profits. Here you can see technology one. I've talked about this chart and the options we've got now: new high, sideways or down. I don't care what really happens. It doesn't really matter to me. I've got my profit, and so some stocks have been triggered, which we've locked in some good profits. Okay, some have hold, like Telex Pharmaceuticals and Qantas, so they're holding and they're doing well. There's a slight change there, but not enough to trigger our stop loss. Okay, so that's really the very simple process. The only questions you need to answer. So your expectations are you've got to be happy with what you've got, and it might be a small loss, and admittedly we have taken a few small losses, but we restrict those losses to the 15%. Okay, so we run our profits to the whatever they might be. I've shown you some profits before with CBA, T&E, CPU, those sorts of things. So our profits outweigh our losses, and that's the ledger we want to have. So be happy with what you've got, be it a profit or a small loss. Then you move on to the next step, which was a new high or a trend reversal, which we wait for. Okay, and the cycle goes on, and you can see here the JB Hi-Fi chart is exactly the same. We had a great run there. We made a 42% profit on the last trade from the new high signal, and now our stop has gone off, so we've locked that profit in, and now we've got the three options of a new high might occur. So if it starts trending up again, we are always on it, and if it doesn't start trending, then we are out and we are neutral and we're preserving our capital, and that is the most important thing. Okay, so that's really all I've got for you today. It really is about recognising those opportunities and not being too greedy. Okay, the other thing we're looking at the moment is these miners, and because we don't have a lot of stock picks left, but there are quite a few miners in there, and you can just see here a little list here of stocks that I've got in the trading centre there, from Capricorn to EVN, GMD, NSD, Proesis, Regis Resources, Sandfire, Sims Group's in there, Emerald Resources and Gold Road Resources. So they're all rating 10s, apart from the two down the bottom there. And you can see the miners are pretty happy for once. And this is small miners. You're not talking about the BHPs and the Rios and the Fortescues. They're all down lows. We're interested in those ones. We're interested in the ones that are running. So, and this is an opportunity that's pretty rare that they trend like this, because they're often more volatile. So that's just an interesting one for you to have a look at. And, I'm enjoying very much the ride we're getting at the moment. Okay, the newsletter will be out next week. You can subscribe to our free blogger course. The Trading Server carries all our entry points, exit levels, monitors all your stocks for you, so have a good look at that. There's in fact 4 very interesting stocks I've got at the moment, 2 industrial stocks and 2 of those diversified miners. Looking very interesting at the moment, so get along to Stockradar, take a trial, have a look at what those stocks are, because I think they might be very interesting opportunities for you. Okay, so when price behaviours swing and change, be quick to respond and adapt. Don't ever be in a position where you will regret. Okay, that's very important. So make sure you do the right thing by your trade plan. Okay, so that's all I've got for today. Watch your trends, heed your stops, keep it simple, have fun, stay safe, and I'll see you all next week for another round of Stockradar Stocks on the Move. See you later.